Alright, today we're going to be doing a Bible review on a local church Bible publisher's Bible. Here we have the 180 S1BG hand-sized text Burgundy Bible. This Bible is 8.75 inches in length and 5.75 inches in width. And to give you the first details of this Bible, it is listed for $57. This Bible, as we get into it, will show you the ins and outs of it. And I will also show you the features and how the leather looks and the color difference and everything that you would need to make a good informed decision on your purchase. So let's get into it. Here we have the 180 S1BG. It is a deep, rich tone of a burgundy color. It says it is done in top grain cowhide. As we see here in the stamping, this top grain cowhide has a very deep, beautiful dyeing on it. The ribbons go quite well with it. They match it almost exactly. Now this Bible, the leather on it, as you can see, has a shiny gloss to it, while also having a nice grain that, whenever I first got it, was not as noticeable. It has been, from working it in and moving it, has formed its own kind of grain. And as we see in this, as you'll get to see, that this Bible, just especially looking at the gilding, it is not brand new. I've had this Bible for almost 2 years now. And even though it is that age, it still maintains a look that is quite pleasing, especially in nice sunlight. It looks very professional. Whenever you take it somewhere, whenever you go to church with it, it pops. Whereas a black color would not show as well. So let's get into how the Bible looks on the inside now that we've taken a good view of how it looks on the outside. Whenever we get into the Bible, we have a synthetic leather lining that goes and is perimeter stitched around the edges. That way we can see that it helps it stay there, and also on this particular one that there's gluing behind this to keep it there. This Bible has part of this synthetic liner put in between two pages to help it take stress off the spine and open easier. And while this is a synthetic liner, it still has a moderate level of flexibility that it can, even be rolled, even though it's not a leather liner. It still has a good flexibility, and being that it's leather liner, it still has some stiffness. But especially whenever it gets warmed up, like in the summer heat, it becomes more flexible. So we have this cover page here, and this is the two pages that I was talking about that has the piece that's glued in between it. Now my gluing on this Bible has slightly come apart right there, but it's not anything that is tragically affected. It was just simply from probably whenever I first got it, flexing it as much as I did. But all it is glue right here, so it's not anything that has to do with the binding itself. It is just come loose. So you could, in theory, stick some glue in there and glue it back. So getting on, we see that in this Bible we have cardstock paper. It is quite excellent for taking notes. We have a presentation page presented to, by, and on. And from this point we have births, marriages, deaths, and it continues on to go with family trees of husband and wife. Now we go to our front page and we see that it says the Holy Bible. Local Church Bible Publishers has their stamp that's on this page right here, and you have their website, phone number, and then they put this sticker in all their Bibles that tells you the website, the item number, this is a 180 S1BG, which stands for Signature One Piece Burgundy, and the manufacturing date. This one was manufactured July 2015, and it is now 2017, so it is almost 2 years old itself. So whenever we get past this page, we see that we have the translators to the readers. And this particular thing is several pages long. And then once you get past it, you will find a page. You'll get into Genesis, but before that you have the names in order of all the books of the Old and New Testaments with the number of their chapters, which is a cool feature because you can look at it and say, okay, Genesis has 50 chapters. So that is a cool feature that I like, especially because you get to see how many chapters are in each book, as well as what page they're on and all their names in their order. So that's a cool feature I like, as well as the fact that it has self-pronouncing text, which you'll see that in just a second, especially on the names in the genealogies. That can come in handy if you learn these signs. So we have Genesis here, and if we can find a spot that has self-pronouncing text, like right here on this word here, on Gihon or Gihon, one or the other, I can't remember which, I haven't pronounced it in a while. This particular word, using that self-pronouncing text, can be deciphered easier. So we have, getting on to the next part, we're looking at the text here. This text has no center column references. It has a 10.5 point bold font, and throughout the Bible it's a pretty consistent printing. It looks bold pretty much everywhere, and you see that it's just a center column. There's no center column reference, and this font is a very readable font. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's easy to read even whenever you don't have the best of eyesight. And this paper has a light gloss to it, as you can pick up different angles in the camera. And sometimes, depending on the light you're on, you won't be able to kind of, where that shines, you won't be able to see right where that's at very well. But as long as you're in fine light like this, you're not going to have too much of a problem. And this particular paper holds up rather well as far as ghosting goes. You can see some ghosting in it, but it's not enough to distract you. And the paper holds up quite well on highlighting. Most of the highlighting I do is with a gel highlighter, so it won't really bleed through. That shows up, I'm pretty sure that's just a regular highlighter, but it highlights quite fairly well. And gel highlighters seem to do the best on this paper because they don't bleed through very much at all, if any. And we see here that all throughout the Bible it has appeared to still maintain a certain level of font thickness to where it hasn't faded out. And once we get here into the New Testament, we see that much like the Old, font's just fine. And depending on how you can see it, there is a light red on the end of these pages to where it's almost like a light art gilt, which gives a kind of different color tone to it. And the gilding on this Bible, even though it's older, is still in pretty good shape. It's been used fairly heavily. And we're going to show you towards the back, we have a concordance. This concordance includes words from A to Z, and it is not, like a exhaustive concordance. However, it does have quite a few words and references. So, if you're looking for earth, say for instance, you have several references that show you where that might be contained at. So just to show you that, it's I can't remember the page number of it, but it is a quite decent sized concordance. And once you get to the end of this concordance, you then have a certain number of maps. And these maps are well illustrated. And I don't use them very much, so I don't specifically know all of them and haven't done a lot on them. But like this one is Jerusalem in the time of Christ, and you see that it's got the names of the valley and well illustrated map, and these maps are quite nice. And then once you get to the back, you have a similar amount, the same amount of pages of this cardstock paper, as it's called, that is quite nice for writing notes. I've done it on this one, and it holds up rather well. You know, it doesn't bleed through. Like, you know, if you were to write notes on the Bible pages, it might bleed through. And you have the same lining on the back to keep the stress off the spine. This also is still synthetic leather on the lining, and then you have your top grain cowhide stamp. And that is the within and without of the Bible. And each leather has its own tone to it. You know, the front piece of this leather doesn't look the same as the back piece. But this Bible is a very pleasing Bible. It has been one of my favorites, and if I don't have this Bible, it's you know, just kind of annoying to me, because this one I broke in rather well. It'll lay flat as anything whenever you get it on, you know, nice flat table especially, and the binding gets more and more flexible the more you use it, and it's a good font. And I've preached out of this Bible, and I've taught out of this Bible, and I've found that while it may not have center column references like a lot do, and it may not have but just a small margin, which is actually only a ½ inch all the way around, it's still a good Bible. You can manage to write a few small references. I have a few references that I can show you how they turn out. That way it can be seen whenever how it would look. And that's in the 23rd Psalm. So in this 23rd Psalm, I wrote out a few references of my own. And provided that you write out in a small enough font, it comes through and it works just fine. It's not a big note takers type Bible. However, it can handle some notes depending on how you write them. And I personally would say that this is a great Bible. There is nothing wrong with it. It's held up from quite a bit of using. I read quite a bit in it. I've read the entire New Testament in this particular Bible, so it's got some good page turning, and part of the Old Testament. And you know, this Bible has become one of my own. You know, it's just a Bible that kind of gets attached to you because the color sticks out, and it shows a level of beauty that a standard color Bible may not. And it's, in my opinion, a great choice for a Bible, and I would highly recommend this Bible to anybody. And it is a very fine example of what Local Church Bible Publishers has to offer as far as their quality goes. And I think that just about covers most everything that you would probably need to know on this Bible. The leather is a nice color, as you can see, and that's a main thing that a lot of people wonder about, is the color of the leather. And I think that this Bible would be a great choice, especially if you're just getting into Local Church Bible Publishers, because this is the first Bible I ever got from them myself. And I feel as though most people would not be disappointed in this Bible. It is a good quality, durable, stout, hand-sized Bible. And, you know, it's got your ribbons, concordance, and maps. You've got a good font size. You've got top grain cowhide within, or on the outside of it. And you have inside of it, you have a synthetic liner, which is just fine. There's no notes, and there's no center column references. However, it has self-pronouncing text in the family tree pages. So it's a good all-around Bible, and like it says on the description, it'd be a great starter Bible as well. So this Bible is a highly recommended Bible, and I would say that most anybody that uses the 180 would agree that this Bible is a great choice. It can be a great starter Bible, or it can just be a great Bible all around. So I highly recommend this Bible, and this has been my complete review of this Bible. Thank you, and have a great day.